All right.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing?
Hey, man, we're here. BlabberMalt Show, episode 60, May 21st, 2024. Oh, snap. We got some BlabberMaltsters here. There's about 70 of them here.
Travel all the way. That might be their average age.
Harsh, man, harsh.
Clip that.
Yeah, for sure.
Different states. Man, let's move off that real quick.
Okay.
Let's get me out of my own problems.
Look at
here.
this location.
Look where we're at.
I mean, can you imagine? This is the most beautiful backdrop we've ever had on the BlabberMalt Show.
I agree.
And we're here with Cory Smith from Twin Oast Brewing Company.
How's it going? Which one am I going for? All both.
Whoa.
Hey, both at the same time. You'll be in
both at the same
stereo.
I love it. There we are. How's it going?
Hey, thanks for having us, man.
Yeah.
You're one of the. We sent out an email to a bunch of people. You guys were one of the first, so
Yeah.
we're super excited to come out here. Join
No,
you.
I any chance I can get to talk about the beer in general. I love the craft beer scene. I love being a part of it, and getting to showcase Twin Oast is always a fun thing too. So I'm happy to be here.
Nice. Yeah, I can't wait to get into this. It's going to be awesome.
No, this is got to be surprising. My first time here to Twin Oast, and I know it's not your first time, Dave.
No, we have a place down the street in Marblehead. We spend quite a bit of time here in the summers. Yeah.
Okay.
Enjoying this beautiful location and the great beers.
And we're going to get a chance, as always, to get a tour of the facility, talk through all of the things that go on here at Twin Oast, tour the brewery, have some beers to try today. We'll have some food later. I see that in our future.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
But before we get rolling, Dave, how do people out there in the internet world find us?
Well, you guys know how to search for things on the place they call the interwebs, the BlabberMalt Show. Facebook and YouTube is where we go live every Tuesday at 7 o'clock, sometimes a little earlier. We are at BlabberMalt on X, Spotify, Instagram, all the other places. Threads, but nobody uses Threads. You ever been on Threads? Nobody's on Threads. Don't worry about that one. Facebook
It's
and
all
YouTube.
advertising. We're at Twin Oast everything. So at Twin Oast on Instagram, on Facebook, and if you want to look at, I don't know if you know this or not, but we actually just kind of acquired another brewery recently, and so we're also at Catawba Island Beer on both Instagram and Facebook as well. So you can find us all over for either the Catawba Island brands or the Twin Oast brands.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I consider Avon Brewing Company my home brewery, but Twin Oast is my second home brewery. My home away from home, yes.
What we've heard. So, well done being bullish on craft beer, man. That's
Yeah, thank you. I mean, for us, I see that there's just only opportunity out there. For a while there was, if you make beer, people will be here, and it's not quite the case anymore, obviously. But we kind of said, let's look at how we can become a destination brewery. Let's build a spot that people really want to go to. Never wanted to necessarily be a restaurant, even though that's kind of how we pivoted a little bit. But even with our service style, it's more the beer's the central focus. We want you to come and hang out, spend the day here. And if we can get you here, I think we can get you to love Twin Oast. And then, getting the beer out on the shelves is different. But, with the Catawba Island brands, we said Hot Blonde is a phenomenal beer. And people have been asking for that ever since they closed. And so for us to kind of have that opportunity to say, let's at least keep that brand alive. And then from there, we can kind of piggyback and do some experimental things. It's more of a fun side project for us that can really elevate what we're doing across the board.
Now, their location, is their equipment still there? Are you going to operate there?
Yes, we are in the midst of repairs right now. So it took a while to get the boiler going. We're getting the malt handling all situated. But I'm hoping by the end of this month that we're going to be doing our first batches of sour beer over at that facility.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a fun little niche.
Yes.
Sour beers. That's exciting.
Well, and that's for us, it's the perfect kind of beer because we have the farm, and our whole goal is to be farm to fermenter. And so in clean beer, that's a really hard thing with fruit that's just covered in bacteria.
Yeah.
And so for us, we've been saying, let's try and get the sour project going. And this was a perfect opportunity to get a separate location where we could stock some barrels and just let it kind of ride, brew in the off season when we're slower, and then, package those barrels when we need them a little bit later down the road.
Yeah. For the non-brewing people out there, you kind of don't want to have a sour program in the same building that you have a clean beer program, because that stuff kind of tends to migrate into your clean beers, and next thing you know, all your beers are sour.
I don't know if this is true, but I spread the rumor as if it is. So the story I heard is that Jolly Pumpkin was a clean beer brewery that had an accident with a sour beer, and now they're a full sour beer brewery.
Yeah, there's no going back.
There's no going back. So if that's true, you heard it from me. If it's not, I'm spreading it anyway.
Yeah, sounds good.
That's great. So, we dig throwing out ideas like that. So whether it's true or not, you heard it here.
We don't
It's
care.
true today.
True today. I haven't been told it's false yet.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And so we talk about the acquisition and the growth that you've seen here at Twin Oast. I know you went out strong out of the gate with that, trying to create that destination brewery. We just did an article with Mark Bono talking about the bullish market in craft beer, as some people were starting to go down and really struggling in aspects. And we just picked up another brewery ourselves this past weekend. So.
Congrats.
No, thanks, man. I appreciate
awesome.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just bought the Cornerstone Brewing Company out in Madison. So we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. Was out there yesterday, turning things over and turning into Madison Brewing Company.
Yeah.
And
Very
just
cool.
really trying to figure that out. But when you do those things, right, you're definitely putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
And then keeping a brand that's already been,
Exactly.
named, not rolling it into your own name brand or whatever.
Right.
What is the thought process in that? What did it look like? What was the mindset through that whole acquisition?
So a couple things. We've been self-distribution the whole time. We actually just signed with our first distributor last week for the Toledo market. But, for us, in having a very seasonal brewery, we kind of thought, okay, if we can help push some distribution by having two different brands, and now we're getting 2 SKUs in the shelves versus just one, that's a good way for us to kind of keep these tanks moving. And we have a lot of money tied up in assets here. And so to kind of keep the tanks full year round is the biggest thing that we're trying to do. And so the Catawba Island brands, first and foremost, was a way to get a second SKU, which is great. But again, it's a way for us to experiment. I feel like, for better or for worse, Twin Oast, we've kind of built a sandbox that we play in. We're a farm to fermenter. We're very traditional styles, very clean. We don't do anything that's too extravagant or too out there. But if we want to do some of those things that I don't feel fit into our brand, then I can do that under the Catawba Island brand. And so the next beer coming out of that is going to be a pineapple upside down sour, which I think is going to be a really fun beer. But for the
I'm
Twin
already
Oast,
excited about it.
right? The Twin Oast brand, that's kind of like, that doesn't quite fit their portfolio. So doing that under Catawba Island, I think, is a fun way to kind of differentiate the two brands, but also let us keep brewing and do some fun things.
No, it's neat. And also keeping around some shelf space that was popular.
Exactly.
With the Hop
yeah.
Blonde.
Yeah, that Hop Blonde, it's mango. If you don't know, it's a mango habanero blonde ale, and people just have been eating that up. So since we've started re-brewing that, it's become like our third best-selling beer. Yeah, it's doing really, really well.
Good choice, man. Good choice. I think we should probably drink some of these 10 beers in front of us as we start talking, right?
Let's get in.
You want to do some of the light ones first? What we go with? This first one is the Crusher. It's the cherry lime.
Cherry lime crusher.
Let's talk about it, and we'll have a little sip.
Yeah.
Dave, right there, the first one.
This is in the summertime. We like to do a shandy called Lemon Berry Blast, and last year, so that's a lemon blackberry shandy. Last year, we decided at the end of the year we're gonna hit it up with a little bit of a different twist and do a cherry lime version. So we went and got a proprietary cherry lime concentrate made for this, and so it's just a nice light beer base, not too much going on with the hops. It's supposed to really just showcase that tartness and the cherry coming through.
Yeah.
It's a very easy summer drinker, but we had it on all winter because in the wintertime people still wanted something. Yeah, they still wanted something with a little bit of a fruit character, and it's so smooth.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's still very ale-ish, right? I mean, when you think about that, I mean, it is a shandy, so you're going to have that beer background, but it is very, very balanced in terms of that limeade, cherry limeade flavor profile, but it still tastes like beer. It finishes with a nice beer finish. I think
definitely,
you like it. Definitely a year-round
Go for
project,
a run
so.
and crack one of those.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not going to run. I mean,
Let's be honest, neither am
I
I.
don't think you run either. How about
I
our
don't.
peanut gallery? You guys into running?
They don't.
Into
they don't like
running? No.
If the police are chasing them, maybe.
Yeah.
See, there we go.
Okay.
That's another joke in the 70s. I know, exactly.
What do we get? What's up next?
So this one is called Strawberry Gozerita. It's part of our Oast House Reserve lineup, and we have a lineup called Oast House Reserve, and essentially that just means we took a beer that we've already made previously, and we aged it in different barrels to give it a different character. So we have the Meet Your Maker, which is
I was gonna say that's woody.
yeah, it's a the Meet Your Maker is our Imperial Stout Chupavi, but we age it in Maker's Mark barrels or whatever barrels we can get. This happens to be our Summer Goes By, aged in different tequila barrels. So we have mezcal, we have tequila barrels, and then we
That's
put
unexpected.
strawberry puree in there. So the whole thought was saltiness from the goza, you get the tequila, you get the fruit, so it kind of ends up being like a margarita as a beer. And this one had a little bit of extra time in the wood compared to the previous year, so it's got a little bit more barrel character.
He
Which,
said wood.
yeah, which I think is kind of nice.
I know. With the wood or the bear?
A little bit of barrel character. A little barrel.
No, it definitely does have quite a bit of barrel.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to tell you, I'm not sure I've ever had a beer like that, and I really enjoy it in a good way. It's
Yeah.
Smoky. Yeah.
it is smoky.
Is that añejo or mezcal? I always forget the smoked tequila. We got barrels from different tequila varieties and blended them all together.
Yeah, it might just be the barrel char or whatever. Now, you said you have Twin Oast has a traditional box of styles.
Well, this
the
fits-
first two are like out there.
Out
man.
there, yeah,
Out
okay.
there.
So I could see that with the Crusher, but this one, with our fruit beers, I like to say if we can't use direct fruit from the farm, let's at least use fruit that is Ohio-based or fruit that we could grow on the farm, so it's farm-inspired. So summertime in Ohio, I always think strawberries, blueberries,
Yeah.
things like that. So this kind of fit right in with what we were trying to do. And again, the barrel, the margarita, we don't really have liquor here. We have like canned cocktails or whatever. But doing something that has a liquor style backbone, I thought would
Okay,
be appealing
yeah.
as well.
And that really does have some pretty pungent tequila in it,
Yeah.
right? It's not just it's not an essence. It does feel like I just drank a smoky margarita.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It is neat.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I said, Dave, is I'm like, wait a minute. We just had a cherry limeade crusher and a tequila barrel-aged strawberry gozerita. That's something that I would do.
Yeah.
Not your typical
If those are 8%, yeah.
fair.
That's something you would do.
These are 4s.
Oh, yeah.
The tequila is 5.7, so we're getting there. That was really good. Thank you for that. That was a
Yeah,
really good
thank you.
experience. Where'd you guys? Where do you put your barrels? Do you do it here as well? Nice.
Yeah, so we have some barrels in the brewery, which when I go on the little tour, we can show you that. We also have kind of a on-site storage barn that is a catch-all, but we have a lot of barrels down there as well,
Yeah.
as you do.
Yes.
So this next one here, this is called the Chupacabra, obviously. So this is going back more towards tradition, but went with a nice Mexican lager. He's using, I want to say it's Racao hops to give it just a little bit of a lime kick, but it's not really hoppy at all. It's just a really nice, we have horizontal lager tanks, and we really pride ourselves in doing lagers the right way. So this had a full 60 days in the tank before we packaged it, which is awesome. Super clean, super clear. You get a little bit of the sulfur character, but it turned out great.
It's very good.
Put a little tahini rim on that. My wife would be over the moon.
Absolutely. Do you guys do that here? Do you guys add any specialties?
We'll do lime on the side, but we haven't done tahini yet. We could. We got it in the back.
Bam. Take that.
You might be
It's
doing
on.
one tonight when my wife gets here.
She does enjoy that.
She likes a nice tahini rim job.
Added to Dave's thing today.
All right.
I do want to, as we head into the next beers, right, I do want to also give you a chance to talk about the beer, but also start incorporating some of the stuff that we might not get to always on the tour, right? And the name Twin Oast is important.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, the name is important. What you're doing here. You talked about your brand, what it looks like, and so obviously, right behind us are kind of the focal point of what we're doing here today. So, introduce the next beer, talk about it, and then just start talking about some things along the way that we can get through to kind of help explain to everybody what's going on here at this beautiful facility, and go from there.
For sure. So next beer is called Been There, Seen That, and we made this for the
I've been
Eclipse.
looking forward to this one all day.
So this was kind of a partnership with actual coffee company out of Toledo, and I'm trying to remember exactly which region. I think it was Puerto Rican beans. I could be wrong on that. I wish I would have had that on top of my head right now, but it's a very easy, clean. Again, everything we do for the most part is like 6.5% and below. So got some vanilla. We have a little bit of coffee in there, aged on whole coffee beans for a few days, and then the concept was
What's the
to
picture of
get
this shirt?
with this beer. We were like, okay, how do we incorporate the Eclipse, right?
Yep.
And so there was dark flavors in a light beer, kind of fit that mold.
I love coffee in lighter beers. I love coffee in any beer, but in the lighter beer, a cream ale, a blonde. I just did a coffee IPA,
Okay.
which I think it's a nice juxtaposition of the flavors. Yeah.
Yeah. No, this one has been one I've been crushing lately, just because
Yeah.
it's just so easy to drink, but you get that big coffee flavor. And it's just not overpowering, as Will, our brewer, says. It's just right in the pocket. It's just right where it needs to be. The vanilla is really rounds it out too.
Yep.
So
Yeah, Avon Brewing Company does Barista Blonde, which is in the same vein, and that's the one. I go to that a lot. Yeah.
okay.
This is good.
Yeah. Well, thank you. But yeah, so the name Twin Oast, obviously behind us you can see our oasts. An oast was, back in England, how they would dry hops. So they'd have them on the hop yards, and at the end of the day, when the hops were ready for harvest, they would pull them all off and put them into these oasts. On the bottom, they'd have a fire, and then they would kind of like have the heat rise up top, let everything dry out. And if you can see on top, the cowls actually spin, and it kind of acts like a weather vane and a chimney at the same time, pulls all the air out. And so for us, we were like, okay, we know we want to have a farm-themed brewery. The whole farm thing came from my dad. I was trying to find a way that we could start a brewery somewhere. I would love to do it in a strip mall, anywhere. I was just like, we need to have a brewery. This is going to be so much fun. And he was trying, they say. This is blown way out of proportion from what I thought. But his whole concept, when my dad was kind of getting out of his job, he was retiring. Our family business was a stainless steel fab shop. And so he was retiring, passing it on to my siblings. And he was like, I grew up with farms all the time. I wanted to get some farmland. It's a great investment. It's something I can do as a hobby. And so when we were looking for a place to put the brewery, we said, why don't we do it on the farm, and we can kind of really mold everything together. And one of our key concepts of the brewery was to keep this area green space. There's a lot of development happening in Catawba. We wanted to make sure that the roots of the island were still, still held true. And so, if you were to turn the camera around, and when we go out on our tour, there's peach trees on this side of us. We have apricot trees up front. We're actually, Ohio's largest apricot farm is just down the road. It's one of our other properties. And so having that connection, the farming and the brewing connection, really is where Twin Oast came from.
Yeah, there's a beautiful orchard. We're going to swing around when we go on the tour.
Trees?
These peach trees were, I want to say they're only about 7-8 years old. I think we planted those right before we started construction here. Being local is one of the biggest things that we focus on, obviously. And so one of the cool things I like to point out is with these oasts, during all the excavation, there's this natural limestone here called Catawba rock. And we actually used all the stone from excavation into building the oast. So that was just buried underground, 3 months before they were built, which is just a really cool tie to the local, agriculture, land, and everything.
Yeah, now we have a fire pit in the one oast.
Yep.
Back over there. There's a bar in this one, so that's the better oast.
That's the better one.
That's
Yes.
the better oast with the bar. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. All right, next beer.
All right.
So this one is called Feeling Dangerous. Obviously a Baker Mayfield reference.
Are you a Baker fan?
I'm not. So this was it was a family fight, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna run with it. Everyone else wanted me to call it this. I'm an Ohio State fan, so I just still feel burned by Baker. But but this is a Schwartz beer, or we just called it a dark lager this year because no one knows what a Schwartz beer is.
Facts.
So
You're not wrong.
yeah, no, it's we almost called it a black pilsner, but the whole concept was just
Well done.
very, very light in the body, very light coffee flavor, a little bit of roast, but drinks as easy as a pilsner. 4.8%. Again, had a good 45 days in the lager tank and really cleaned up. It's a
Smoky
beautiful
too.
beer.
Yeah, it is. Got a little bit of a smoke to it from the green.
Yeah.
We run into that too. Obviously, when you're looking at what people will buy and what you put on the menu, again, looking at our various locations throughout Northeast Ohio, everyone's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Right? I mentioned to Mark Bona that in Avon, if we have 24 taps, if 12 of them aren't IPAs and hazies, we're bad.
Right.
In Medina, more than half our beers are lagers.
Yeah.
Red lagers, dark lagers, you cross the board because that's just kind of what the people are gravitating towards. And I can't call it a Schwartz beer.
Right. Right. No one knows.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary, right?
No. It's cool. It's a dark lager. You're going to love it. Cool. I like that. So good call on that. And that's a good beer.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
For sure.
that one, the tagline we came up with, the first brewer who was here, he said, "Never fear the color of a beer." And so we kept running with that because it's so true. Once people try it, they just realize, it's just as easy drinking as everything else we have, but it just has a little bit more character to it.
It's that same connotation people always talk about with Guinness.
Exactly.
Being so heavy, I can't drink that. And it's a 4% beer.
Right.
It is a light ale, right? And so,
Exactly.
we get it. So I think that's one of the questions people always have, and I'm glad you answered with the Oasts. We hear a lot of people who are coming out your way. We're a stop on the west side as people head out in your direction, and we hear it all the time. People are like, they ask questions about your location, and they're like, that's pretty cool. They built a brewery around old facilities, and so it's good to hear kind of the history behind it. You wanted to create something that was potentially on the property, given the time period, given the historical nature of the area and the farmland.
Yeah, absolutely. And we, like I said earlier, I really thought if I just put a 7-barrel system in a strip mall, I would be happy personally, but that's not how we operate as a family. And so we were saying, okay, we love the name Twin Oast. We want to have Oasts. How do we put that on the property without, my dad,
Dig up a bunch of rocks and you build these super expensive structures.
Well, that's his line was, with a normal building, I can just resell it. If we go under, we can recoup something. He goes, this is going to be a monument forever. It's either a monument to our genius or our stupidity, but it's a monument. Either way, it'll be there. And so we said, let's just go for it. And like I told you guys off air, I quit teaching in 2017. We opened up in 2018. This has been something
just
where
ignore him and keep talking.
I try. It's all right. This has been something where we've just went head first into it.
Yeah.
And if we want to kind of go this way, since we just had a dark beer, this beer is called Ship Burner, and it's from the phrase "burn the ships," because of that kind of concept, which is, let's just not worry about the repercussions. We either fail or we make it, and
we're not going back.
We're not going back.
We're not going
There's
back.
no way we're going back. So, Shipburner is our porter. I said earlier when I was homebrewing, this is actually one of my recipes. I used to put coconut in here, and we've done that from time to time, which is really nice. But it's got some coffee, got some chocolate flavors to it. Very easy 5% porter. Just a really nice beer. Got some Maris Otter in there to kind of give it a little bit more body, but it's very nice.
Yeah, to kind of dovetail off of what you were saying earlier, when we did the post that we were coming out here tonight, we had a lot of action on that. People were like, oh, that's one on my list. It's a great place. People that have been here know, and people that haven't been here need to get out here.
We had 70 people already commenting and working through the process, which is pretty good for just a teaser post. So backwards with you, love this beer. It's actually a really, really great porter. I like the darker version of this. You know, some people like to do a nice brown porter.
Right.
I like this one. This is what we do. We have a King Coconut,
Okay.
which is our coconut,
Yeah.
imperial coconut porter. But we just brewed our first ever Bad Monkey No Coconut
Oh, okay.
porter.
Okay.
So a little lighter ABV, kind of like this. You're going back and forth on that too. So I think those flavors mesh really well together.
That's
Coconut,
another
chocolate.
ingredient.
It just
Coconut. I
works
love
really
it.
well.
Yeah.
You did a coconut IPA before
Yeah,
too. Those
love
are good
it.
things. So yeah, a lot of that's really good. And I love the idea of burning the ships, man. I mean, this is one of those things people always ask, like, what do you do? Why do you do it? I know you quit teaching. I want to talk to you about this next week when you're on air with us and live in the studio. I'm still an educator, right? So this is my 22nd year. I did some career classes. I taught restaurant management at the vocational school, and now I'm our career services specialist, where I work with business partners to get kids jobs and kind of up the ante for their future careers themselves, which is wonderful,
Yeah, that's
right?
great.
But as we look at how we do business and stuff, like, well, I bet on myself.
Right.
I'm gonna burn that ship. We're in.
Yeah.
I'm in. We've already worked through the process, and we're turning the key. It's all in.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we're just going. So love the name, love the beer. Again, love the fit with what you're talking about here with the Twin Oast. So set the next one up. I want you to talk about what you guys did below with the waterfall area. So
Yeah. So next one's actually the most recent release from our Catawba Island brand. So I threw this in there because it was an IPA. We call this a double dry hop Midwest Coast IPA, inspired by kind of the beers out of North Park, West Coast style. The concept with this Catawba Island, like I said, going very experimental. I wanted to use like 702, flowable hops, different hop products that we don't normally use, just to try and get a little bit more pungency from the nose. And then I called it a Midwest Coast because it's got the West Coast body, but we actually threw in a thiolized yeast to pull out some of that kind of passion fruit. And
I just want to smell it.
I know it smells. It's lots of was that Chinook in there, some
Yeah.
Simcoe.
Dank.
Yes, that is a fun one.
Smells like
and
a
so
bowl of reefer right there.
so we went 80 IBU. It's about 8.5%. And Sneaky Sinker's a reference to a couple of years ago when the fishing tournament and the guys put the weights in the walleyes. And so on the label we actually
They almost
have
killed
fish
those
with
guys.
walleyes
They
on
almost
there.
killed
I know.
those guys when
I know.
they
It
pulled
became
those.
well, they're from Port Clinton.
Yeah.
Which I was like, we can't not let that go.
Yeah.
So
I saw that name. I was like, that's
that
out
happened
of
in
the
Lorraine,
box,
though,
yeah.
right?
yeah.
That's right by our place, our new spot there at the shipyard. So they just had that same tournament this past weekend.
Yeah.
And so they were still talking about that even to this day, running their mouth about.
those guys are lucky to be alive.
I mean,
There's prize money, man.
I was gonna say they've
Big
gotten
money.
boats
Yeah.
from doing this, but so we had fun with that one, and on the label it's all kind of references. But you want me to talk about the waterfall area?
I would love
Yeah.
to.
And
We're
so
going to see that in the tour. But
Yes.
I want you to
yeah.
how it came about. We're not
Yeah.
talking the tour.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Let's just talk about it.
So on the waterfall side, we were trying to do some excavation, and we wanted to have a water feature if we could. We were digging in the property just to see where we could hit bedrock, because this whole place, if you were to dig anywhere here, it's like 80% rock, 20% soil. And so eventually we hit bedrock, and it's right next to a cave that's obviously been here for, who knows, thousands of years.
Yeah.
And the cave used to be used as an irrigation pipe for the farmer who used to own the property. And so we dug next to it, found some bedrock, and just put a concrete liner in, rerouted the cave, made a water feature out of it. And so it's essentially just an uncovered waterfall is the way we kind of look at it. It looks
Yeah.
very natural.
Is there any pirate treasure down there?
Oh,
Buried pirate treasure?
There was a lot of random shit down there, but no pirate treasure. We were looking for like arrowheads and things that you could possibly see, but
You gotta come up with a
better one. I know.
Pirate treasure.
I know. Yes. No pirate treasures. Jewels, all kinds of crowns.
Doubloons.
Yeah, doubloons. Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
We'll
but-
edit that together.
Thank
It'll
you.
make sense.
It'll make sense. But yeah, so we just dug that out, and it's just this beautiful natural water feature right now.
It is, man. I mean, and you guys, we should talk about. You guys have some recurring events. I do the Ostoberfest,
Yeah.
and when you release the Apricotaba or Chupacabra, It's just fantastic. You get the beer tents out there, people
Yeah.
pouring. We got the stage, bands playing.
Yeah. Yeah. We try and do 3 a year in the summertime because we figure this is the only time for our area to celebrate.
yeah.
So we really hit it hard. We do Apricot Fest is July 13th this year. That's always like a big farmer's market. Kind of do some folk music on the stage, country music. And we have like 20 vendors come in and sell products, and we have fun. We release our Apricotaba then. That's one of our best-selling beers. People just absolutely love it. And then Quinstock is our music festival. So on the stage, this year we're actually putting 2 stages up. We're going to have 10 straight hours of music, which is going to be a lot of fun. And that started as a birthday party for my dad when he turned 50. And my brother was in a band, and he was like, hey, grab some friends. We'll put a stage in the backyard.
How long ago your dad turned 50?
He's
Just give me
20 years. He's
Okay.
he's almost 70 now, so he's been having a lot of fun the last 20 years.
I was going to say,
But he's
I
been
might
having
be
a lot of
your
fun.
dad's age.
But that kind of turned into this big party. It was like a block party, and then it became something we had to do at the brewery too.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so this year we're not doing the Berry Delish, which has always been the release that day. We're going to turn it into a watermelon goza. So something a little bit different. Try and change it up a little bit. And then in early October, we're doing Oktoberfest, which is part Bavarian Heritage Club.
That's a banger.
And then it's part Brewfest. So last year we had 20 breweries join and pour beer. It's 2 days. Bavarian Sports Club out of Toledo comes. They do dances. We have the Chardon Polka Band. Like it's
They're nuts.
It's
Those
my
guys are
favorite.
nuts.
It's
Yeah.
my favorite day of the year.
We, our friend Christine Harpering does where you,
okay.
the marionette thing.
The marionettes.
I'm like,
yeah.
she got up there to do that. I was like, watch this. This is going to be a disaster. She freaking drank the beer. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Too many people have gotten just soaked
Yeah.
with those things. It's hilarious to watch. But when you get it done, you feel like
Accomplished.
a badass.
Yeah. All right, what we got next?
All right, so this is our Gallivanter. As I mentioned earlier, we like to keep things 6.5% and below for the most part. This is actually a session hazy IPA. We know that people definitely want a hazy at almost all times.
Yeah.
So we try to have a hazy come out once a quarter. So Gallivanter was the quarter 2 hazy.
Gotcha.
So 4.8%. It's got thiolized yeast, a lot of New Zealand hops, so it's going to be more of that white wine.
Yep.
and kind of like green grape and dank versus kind of the juicier, fruitier that you're going to get with the Rutherford next.
Yeah.
It definitely has that kind of dryness of that New Zealand kind of white winey.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
So
It's really good.
That's a fun one for us to have out there. And
Yeah, and you guys can in pint cans, right?
Yep.
So I appreciate the lower ABVs. Sometimes you crack a pint of a beer if you're going to drink no, I'm not looking at you. Don't get offended. I mean, you're doing a pint, you don't really want a 9%er, you know. That's
which is so interesting
Yeah.
because the 19.2s that are so popular are the ones that are like 10% plus.
Well, I get
And
it.
So,
It's-
but I agree. I
Yeah.
mean, we figure our clientele in our area, it's going to be hot. You're going to want something that you're going to want to have multiple of. And
So
so
you're
we
gonna
figure
drink 'em
let's
fast.
drink them fast
Yeah.
and let's have lower ABV and just really enjoy them as opposed to try and get people wasted off of one beer.
Yeah.
Which is just,
There's nothing
there's
wrong with
time
that.
and place, but yeah, if you're sitting in a 90-degree sun, you're not necessarily wanting a 10%
Yeah.
IPA all the time.
I always make fun of Matthias
just
because
josh
his beers
with
are 8.5.
ourselves.
All his beers.
Our NEPAs, right, are 8%,
Yeah.
and then kind of move down from there. But we are kind of changing that up a little bit just based on today's yeast health. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just it's a changing market.
Exactly.
Yeast are
And me busting his balls all the time about it.
no. You like the big ones.
You heard it here.
Right here. But I do want to say, so 2 things, right? I want to talk about some of the events, not just what you do. We have 2 more beers left, so let's talk about the events, but also the fact that people can do weddings here. I heard that from you.
Yeah.
And then it isn't all outside. Most of it is. There's a little bit inside. We'll see that later. So let's talk about the weddings and events they can do here for the Hazia, and then the last beer we'll talk about some of the inside stuff you have going on too.
Sure. All right, so as you're going to the next beer, this is Rutherford B. Hayes, probably our most sought-after hazy beer. Oh, geez, I did not realize that. Sorry. It's just a little extra protein or something. I don't know.
As long as it's not the bottom.
So we use Sabro and Azaka on this one.
It is
So you're
not.
going to get that pineapple and coconut kind of combination out of this this hazy. In this space, you know, we allow people to rent it out for different private events. People would love to get married here. We actually just had a wedding yesterday on a Monday. Someone came in and had like a small 30-person wedding, and you know, why not go for it?
Yeah.
We love to share our space. At times it seems more like a park than it does a brewery. I mean, people are out here just with lawn chairs and blankets down. But you know, we'll do everything from 60-person events in this space that we're in here now, our pergola, or we'll have 300-person weddings that they set up a tent out on the lawn, and you know, we'll provide the bar and they can get catered, and you know, the sky's the limit. It's really whatever you're looking to do. We have the space, and if we can feasibly make it work with infrastructure, we're more than open to it.
I mean, fantastic space, and you can bring these shades down, right?
Yes.
Do like a 3-season.
Yeah.
Type
Actually,
thing?
in the wintertime, we put canvas all the way around.
Oh, okay.
And so this gets a complete transformation. It turns into more of like a cozy lounge, and we have the igloos on the patio.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have 8 igloos in the off season. We call this the Big Glue because it's just like the same kind of
Big
vibe
Glue.
but bigger. And you can rent that out or just come out here and hang out. We have our trailer bar in the back, and it's just a nice way to expand the tap room. You know, we only have 100 seats inside, and so we figured that was the right move with our seasonality. Allow us to expand when people are here and not have a huge space otherwise. But it's a kind of a double-edged sword because on a Saturday, if there's more than 100 people, then
that's a good segue into like the seasonality of Catawba. You know, so you guys thought, well, this is going to be in the wintertime. We'll just have the tap room. Yeah. Just speak of the challenges of the seasonality of Catawba.
Yeah, it's very difficult because you know, as we walk through the brewery, you know, I can show we built the space big enough so that we can handle our summer demands, but in the off season, you know, that's where we really need distribution to pick up because, you know, we have 100 seats, and in the area itself, I think the actual population of Catawba is only like 10,000 people, or Port Clinton is only like 10,000 people max, maybe even less. But then in the summertime, because of Put in Bay, because of Cedar Point, I think there's 11 million tourists that come through the area every year. And so we get this huge influx. Yeah. We have 500 seats outside, and then we try and really collapse it down and make it manageable. But, you know, that's tough. You have staff. Yeah. We're trying to make sure that we can keep as many people on as possible because we need them for the summer.
Sure.
It's a big balancing act for us to try and figure out those 8 months of the year when it's slow. You know, how do we navigate while still maintaining the ability to have this whole thing in the summer.
You're going from at most 100 people inside, right, to 500 to 4,000 people on any given day here.
Yeah, exactly.
On the grounds.
Yeah.
That's a huge
It's huge
thing, right?
And we never planned on. I mentioned earlier about not wanting to be a restaurant. We planned on being a brewery that had pretzels, maybe some charcuterie, and then hiring in food trucks. And so our kitchen. I was talking to a guy. He said, "Yeah, it's a postage stamp. Like it's literally, it's a shoebox. We have like 2 fryers and a little griddle, and that's it." And so when we're trying to feed 1,000 people in a night, it gets chaotic.
So, last beer. I want to talk food with you.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
So that's what we do. So what's the last beer here? The Swells.
This is Legitimate Swells. This is my go-to IPA. Again, another one of my recipes from when I was home brewing.
Wearing the shirt.
Wearing the shirt. I love this beer. So the concept behind this beer, and it's had a little bit of ebbs and flows, but it's supposed to be East Coast meets West Coast. It's supposed to be a clear hazy, and so it's made with Chinook. No, sorry, not Chinook. Simcoe. Wow, I'm going on the sneaky sinker here. It's made with Citra, Amarillo, and then a little Mosaic, and so it's supposed to have a big orange, tropical fruit kind of character, but then be super dry and drinkable and not bitter.
Sure.
And so it's absolutely approachable beer. 6.3%.
Yep.
And it's just supposed to be one where people can just crush and enjoy all the time.
No, it definitely hits those notes. So we saw your kitchen inside, right? But we're also outside here, right?
Yeah.
What does that look like food-wise as we just look at moving and transitioning to what we want to do from starting out 8 years ago as more of a restaurant-centric spot that had their own food, that made their own beer, to more of a brewery-centric feel that has really good food.
Yeah.
You mentioned that's what you're after. Obviously, that's the game that we're all playing today is
Right.
kind of balancing act between good beer, food, keep people in the seats, right? Leveling it up a little bit. I saw your menu, right?
Yeah.
What does it look like even out here? Because there's options out here too, right?
Yeah. So when we go around, you'll notice every table has a table number with a QR code, and so we do a hybrid style of service. So we don't have servers that go table to table and wait on you, but we do have what we call floor captains that pop around and say, hey, here's how our system works. If you'd like, I can help you out. I can put an order in if you don't have a smartphone. Otherwise, go ahead and scan the code. And that has been a good way for us, because I feel like if you go in to a restaurant and there's a hostess and they say, hey, how many are dining? And then you go to a waiting area, you're immediately in the restaurant mode.
Yep.
Like, you're not at a brewery right there. To me, a brewery is a place where you go up to the bar, you get a drink, you wander the grounds, or you wander and you go sit at a table and drink with your friends, and then, hey, maybe you order a pretzel. And so we kind of wanted to make sure that our service even followed that model. So we do the hybrid service model. Our kitchen inside is 95% of the food that's on that QR code.
Okay.
We do quick appetizers out of this kitchen outside. And so the whole concept is, if they're slammed because we have 1,000 people, you can at least get a pretzel or nachos, or you can get, right now we have bruschetta really quickly out of this kitchen to kind of hold you over while you're waiting.
Looks like a pizza oven, though.
And then, the second part of this kitchen is we can only use the QR codes if you're at a table. So we have people who will park and bring lawn chairs, but I want to be able to feed them.
Gotcha.
And so this acts like a concession stand where you can walk up, order
See
a pizza,
that.
or you can order any of the quick apps. And so that's our way for people who don't have table numbers to be able to still get food without drowning our kitchen even worse.
Heard.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
You've heard it here. That's how you do
you
it.
heard it here. I mean, that's how we do it. We've pared down our menu a little bit this year just to kind of make a little bit speedier. Again, in the off season, It's a whole different ball game. I can do pub plates and I can do some more extravagant dishes, but even then, we're just quirky bar food. It's supposed to be fun, fresh, and stuff that pairs really well with the beer.
Yeah.
The burgers are great.
Thank
We
you.
got a thumbs up for the burgers.
Yeah,
There
the
we
smash
go.
burgers.
Yeah.
That was another thing that actually came out for speed. We were trying to figure out how to cook burgers quicker, and
Make
I was
'em
like,
thin.
smash burgers and they ended up being better than what we were doing before.
There you
So
go.
I loved it. Yeah.
One of the things that my wife and I realized when we came up here, we thought, because we started coming up here when you guys were just opening up, we thought, they're going to die in the winter. I don't know if anybody's going to be here. But people still do come out.
Yeah.
There's good crowds,
Yeah.
even in the winter, all over the place, bars, restaurants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We keep a solid weekend crowd. I mean, throughout
Yeah.
the week it's still pretty slow, but the igloos that we put up during COVID really were a game changer. I mean, they've doubled our winter business because now we've doubled the seats. And I always laugh because I said, our tap room's empty. Who's going to pay to rent an igloo outside?
Be surprised.
And we'd still have days where those are full and the tap room's empty. So it's all about the experience. And,
Yeah.
we've kind of known that. Our tagline from year one was come for the beer, stay for the experience. And
Yeah.
and just always remembering that,
And burn the ships.
And burning ships.
Burn the ships.
And so just always remembering that, we're not fighting other breweries all the time. We're fighting Netflix. How are we
Yeah.
going to get people off their couches to come here? That's kind of the mindset we always have to have.
So, speaking of Netflix, right? I'm just kidding. The grounds aren't that big, people. No Netflix and chilling here, but I think that's important as we look at how you create an atmosphere, right? We talk about for us coming for the beer, stay for the food, or come for the food, stay for the beer. Come for the beer, stay for the experience.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. And we hear that all the time about what goes on out here at your location. So it's exciting to hear those things. The beers are fantastic.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thanks for walking us through them and giving us some insight to all that's going on here at Twin Oast. I would love for you to take us on a tour.
Yes.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds great. Let's go.
Yeah, man. So maybe Dave can just do a little Yui here and check out some of the peach trees.
Yeah, so I'm going to walk around here, hopefully still on camera, but over here, yeah, woo! So over here we actually have a small plot of peach trees. As you exit and take a right out of here, you're going to see different trees that we have as well. So we have cherry. This is kind of like our experimental plot. So we have hybrids. We have pluots and apriums and different kind of things that we just graft together. Yeah. But that's kind of a fun little playground. But yeah, these peaches here, mixture of Red Haven contenders and white peaches. So we have a little bit of everything out there.
Cool.
Yeah.
And this is what your pergola?
Yes, we call this the pergola. We call this kitchen the Hop House kitchen, just to kind of give it a different feel because it's more concession stand style, walk-up style. But this is our pergola space. Like we said, the sides can come down. Fits about 60 people in the summertime. Once it's wintertime and we go into lounge mode, it's more 45 people-ish. But it's nice and cozy, you know?
Yeah. So, how are you? Good. That's who we were waving
Addie,
at
you're going to get
earlier.
on camera?
Yeah.
No. I guess she is. Oh, sorry.
So if you want to walk up here, right?
Yeah.
Pretzel.
So right now we have pretzel, we have loaded hummus, nachos, and burrata bruschetta as our quick apps. And then we have a bunch of different pizzas.
Yeah, man.
Everything from margarita. My favorite one's the sriracha barbecue. It's got sriracha base, sriracha barbecue base, but then we do chicken, bacon, onions, and sriracha aioli on top. It's killer. But the pizzas are, stone oven pizzas. Mm-hmm. Try to go as Neapolitan style as we can without actually cooking at 1,000 degrees.
Sure.
Really cook at about 700.
And now you can only get that menu by walking up
Correct.
and hanging out.
Yes.
So.
The quick apps are actually on the QR codes, but the pizzas are only walk up.
Nice.
Yeah. And then in the winter, because it's different, we put them on the
Sure.
because
you can.
Because we can.
You have little hop vines?
Yeah. Just get a little greenery going on. So we have some hop vines here. These are actually in year 3. I'm hoping they're going to grow. The concept is to get up and then actually hopefully take a turn and connect to the top and kind of make a whole archway here. Last year I got probably 70% of the way there. So they're getting there.
So you can see behind us, here's your oasts.
Yes. So quick fun fact, at the very top we got the guy who's cheersing. The one on this side is a guy, the one on this side is a girl. It's supposed to be mom and dad. So
well played.
It kind of cheers in the crowd. And if you look, there's a little interlocking TO at the end, but the one that's my dad is a Q. So he has a little bit of an ego.
So as Dave mentioned, you have a little fire pit in here in this one, and then a bar.
Yes. So Jim's tending bar over here. But on this one, we have our fire pit turned off today because it's like 90 degrees outside.
It is warm today.
It's a nice, beautiful day. But so this fire pit or this oast is just nice general seating for people, and then that one's more the bar. We rent that oast out from time to time, so if someone wants to have a small party of like 20, we can rent that out too.
Nice.
Which is really fun.
That is neat. And all of your beers are also available there?
A majority. So we actually just added 4 more taps because we only had 12 taps outside, and we were like, man, there's just not enough going on. So we added 4 more taps so we could do our house-made root beer, a cider, a mead, and then we're actually going to do keg cocktails this summer too.
Nice.
So we'll have those 4 things on the 4 taps, and we'll still have 12 taps for full beer.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Head out to
Head on this way? Right.
Yeah.
All right, so walking down these local stone slabs here, walking past the cave.
These are all here on the property?
No, but they were quarried out of Marblehead, just down the road.
So just local.
Yep. But this down here was actually the cave that I mentioned. We have 2 caves on property. There's one here, and there's actually one over here. Locals tell me, and I've never been small enough to try this, but they say when they were kids, they used to come on this property, go into this cave, and then pop up over here. I don't know how true that is. I'm not a spelunker.
Not trying it.
I'm not trying it, but
I watch these
that's
videos
what they say.
on the internet of guys going in caves that barely fit in and come
Yeah.
out the other side.
Yep.
Like, heck no.
No.
Way, man. That's crazy.
That's not the kind of shit burning I like to do. And so on this side, we just added this gravel beer garden area.
Yeah.
Normally, you can see the trailer in the back right now, but normally that's over here for a self-pour station.
Sure.
So because everything's bar service, allowing people to kind of grab a cart and pour their own beer and hang out on the lawn with their kids, it's
So
nice
that's
and
a
easy.
self-pour
Yes.
trailer.
Yes. So we hook it up. We give you a little pour card.
Yep.
And then you can just take an ounce if you want. You can try a beer or just go to town.
That's pretty killer. And I can see why people would be willing to rent out this space. I mean, not just up there, which was my thought, right? Honestly.
Right.
Was that, I wanted to come here and have a reception. We're getting into the wedding game too, so I get what that looks like.
Yeah.
But this is something I didn't see before. It's my first time down here. So,
Okay. Yeah.
This is pretty awesome.
Yes. This is the golden view, right? We actually put a stone here because so many people were just like sitting here for taking selfies. And so we just decided to put a stone to kind of mark here's a good spot. But it's cool because that's where a lot of people, will have engagements. And so we'll have a lot of photos where people are down on one knee with the Oast behind it. And those are always just awesome, I
No,
never
it's totally-
expected that. That was something that I didn't really think of when we built this.
Sure.
And now we're a part of someone's life and their journey, and that's such a cool aspect of it.
It really is. And the fact that you're using water that's right here from this well.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah. And, most of this, it looks fabricated or whatever, but this
Yeah.
is literally bedrock, and then the stones we dug up and replaced it. So this is about as natural as you could possibly get there.
Sure.
And then I got a shout out to Jesse, who's our landscaper. He's with a crew called Those Guys right now, but they do everything here, and they're just really great at having constant color. Every 2 weeks or so, the whole grounds look different. So it's pretty
Nice.
amazing.
And even just the backdrop here.
Yeah.
Well done. So
Thank
you
you.
mentioned to me earlier that apart from having, events and venues and tents and stuff out here in this wonderful expanse of green
Yeah.
area, people come and kids can run and hang out. A lot of these
Oh yeah.
picnic tables are more spread out through the rest of the summer.
Yep. Just kind of take up this whole grounds.
Yeah.
People play wiffle ball. They
Oh,
set
yeah?
up kickball games. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah.
Nice.
It is. I would actually say probably 25% of the people who are here are families with children.
Yep.
And so, they've just learned that that's a great place to go. I mean, my kids, they're a little biased, but they're like, hey, we want to have our birthday at Twin Oast, and so we come down here and they run around, they
Sure,
meet new
it's
friends.
fine.
It's
It's
like,
my
yeah, it's
place.
easy.
It's easy.
But but that's what we get. We get a lot of people who say their kids' favorite places here, and so it's easy for
Yeah.
them to come back to.
Nice. They don't even want to catch another whole glimpse of what's
Yeah.
going on behind everybody. Just one little swoop. So free reign, free run to the whole area over here, the mowed grass portion.
Yeah, and they actually, there's a little bit of a trail in the back here. If you see the sledding hill in the far back,
Correct.
that's all the dirt from excavation just got pushed up there into the sledding hill. So that in the wintertime, hopefully this is going to be the first good year for it. We haven't had snow in like 3 years, at least good snow.
It's true.
But there's actually a little bit of a walking trail where you can go back and up into the woods and come back around into the patio.
Nice.
So if people want to just grab a beer and take a walk, like that's fair game for sure.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, but
All right, man.
but everything's open here. On the opposite side of this ridge, there's a stage, and that's where we kind of centralize all of our events, our festivals. We have a big screen on the back, and we'll do movie Wednesdays. And so
Oh.
we do double features every Wednesday in the summertime
Nice.
and let kids just come watch movies and hang out.
That is huge.
Set up popcorn.
I did not see that before.
And we're really hoping this willow tree hangs on for a few more years. I heard they
pretty.
die quick, but it's been a great focal point for everyone. It just gives everyone shade in the heat of the day,
does.
and it becomes kids are climbing it, and it's
you
beyond the
mentioned-
Oast is kind of like our second symbol.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you mentioned when you have your bands, this is where you're having them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So bands every Saturday in the summer we do a concert on the stage, and then Thursday, Friday, and Sunday they play down here in the gravel.
Okay. plenty of area to play some yard games.
Yeah. We'll set up cornhole, giant Jenga, Connect 4, everything we have.
Nice.
The other thing we do with the stage in the fall time, we'll have Ohio State games play. And so
You are a Buckeyes fan.
I am a Buckeyes fan. So so that's
so close
actually
to the
that's been something that has been awesome for us, on when they played Notre Dame last year. Everyone sits on the hillside, the early games where it's nice and still good weather outside. We get great crowds.
So I'm going to come out and hang out with you for the Ohio State Michigan game.
Oh no, that's not.
That's going to happen.
I can't. I can't even say anything. It's been 3 years.
I know.
I forget.
Right?
My daughter was born in.
Just so you know. Just so you know.
My daughter was born in 2019, and she has yet to see the Buckeyes beat Michigan, and it just burns me. It burns me.
Living the high life.
No.
Dave, you want to swap out and head inside and I'll record?
Sure, man. All right. Let's go check out this brew house.
Yeah, let's check it out inside. We'll take a quick peek into the tap room, and then I'll take you into the back.
Here we go. Order beer here.
Order beer here, yep. Everything, part of the hybrid service model is that we get beer at the bars. So that's why we have so many bars kind of scattered out. We don't want you to be too far from beer at any given time.
Yeah, smart.
So, yeah.
So smart.
So in the tap room, just some more local stuff to point out. All the wood on the walls is a black walnut that a guy out in Fremont, I'd love to say it was from the farm. We exchanged farm black walnut for this because of time constraints, but local made. He did the whole thing here, so a local woodworker created the whole bar top. That's one giant piece that was fun to get put in. But then again, the Catawba rock on the side for the internal fireplace, and just trying to use as many local resources as possible during the build-out. But we have 20 taps up here. Right now we have our house root beer. We usually do a cider, and then we have the sneaky sinker. So then we have 16 other Twin Oast taps. So.
Very good. Yeah.
All right, let's back to the brew house.
Absolutely.
All right.
This is where the magic happens.
Yeah. So, I kind of mentioned to you before, we've gone through quite a bit of expansion from year one. We actually used to use this space as an event space as well and try and do some, we used to do, what are those, New Year's Eve parties back here.
Okay, yeah.
We would have people come and do weddings and whatever, but we've since had to fill it with tanks, which is
We
a
need
good
more
problem.
tanks, yeah.
But we have a 15-barrel system, so Quality Tank Solutions helped us design this 4-vessel system. I thought this was going to be kind of our secondary stage of if I wanted a 7-barrel system originally, let's go one more step higher so that we can keep up with everything.
Yeah.
And we've been kind of maxing it out, at least 6 months of the year we've been maxing
It's like
it out.
what everybody says. Just go bigger.
Just go
Whatever
bigger.
you think you need, go bigger.
That's exactly right. And they also said it'll cost triple the money, and that was not wrong either.
Yeah.
But part of us having a stainless steel fab shop was that we were able to do a couple tanks in-house, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
So we built some of our 30-barrel fermenters and then a couple of our serving tanks actually at the fab shop as well. So at the moment we have capacity to do 5,200 barrels. We're roughly about 2,400 barrels in production as of last year. And like I said, we max it out for 3 months of the year, 6 months of the year, and then the rest of the time it's kind of doing some small distribution. So
Yeah.
And then over this way, we got our little 1-barrel pilot system, but also from day one, we knew we wanted to have horizontal lager tanks. So our goal is to constantly have one of these filled. We have a 30 barrel. We just got a 60 barrel. And then the timeline is that we try to get a minimum of 45 days in the tank to clean up.
Okay.
Sometimes, production makes it go a little bit earlier, but if we can, I think the batch of Kelly's Island Pilsner we have has been 90 days, and it's tasting beautiful right now.
Okay. Well, you can't argue with quality. I mean, that's where you have to put your time and effort.
Exactly. So I'll give you guys a little insider tip if you ever come to Twin Oast. These 4 bright tanks right here are connected to taps 1 through 4, left to right at the bar.
Okay.
So either the bar inside or at the Oast bar, they feed both bars.
Oh,
So
wow.
I always consider those the freshest beer. They're not even packaged yet. They're still on bright tanks. So if anyone wants the freshest beer they can get at Twin Oast, look for taps 1 through 4, and those are what you should order.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Very good.
That's always my plug. Okay. Head on up this way. Yeah, got our little 1-barrel pilot system. We're actually,
Oh, look.
I know.
SS Brew Tech.
I think I think his
Yes.
name is Precious. This
Yeah.
one's just a little guy.
Yeah.
We try to do a couple different experimentals throughout the year. I think right now we're actually working on a ginger beer with Zach Ward, who played Scott Farkas in A Christmas Story.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're working on a ginger beer with him. So I think we have a little bit of ginger beer in
That's
that
cool.
right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at a glycol chiller about that size.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a nice little SS Brew Tech
Yes.
system. It does well for us. And then I mentioned earlier the barrels. So we have a few barrels over here. I got to remember exactly what is in these ones now. Okay, these are actually just the freshly drained Gozarita.
Okay.
So that one,
yeah.
after we put everything from the barrels into the tanks and blended in the puree, they just stacked them back here for storage. So all of our actual beer storage is down in the other storage barn at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
A super secret storage barn.
Super secret as you pull into the right storage barn.
Okay.
But that's where we have our next round of Meet Your Maker. We're working on, we actually have a Imperial Red that has, it's in a Tabasco barrels.
Oh, wow.
So we used to do a beer called Lava Monster, which I think will come back at some point. But that was an Imperial Red with hot peppers from the farm.
Yeah.
We wanted to kind of make that even bigger, so we went with a Tabasco barrel system with that one.
Nice.
And then just other random stuff. I think we're going to do a Kolsch aged in Chardonnay barrels down there as well.
Oh, man.
So that'll be fun.
Sounds good.
Well, we appreciate you
Yeah.
having us out. Look forward to next week.
Yeah,
When you come in
absolutely.
the studio,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
get to just dive deeper into you as a human being and
Okay.
what brought you to craft beer and all the wonderful things we can talk about in our podcast. Dave, anything else?
Yeah, I'm just going to go over what we got coming up. Yeah, so Cory and Lily's going to come, right?
Yes. Yep.
Next week, be in the studio. We're going to be at Schnitz in Strongsville, June 4th. The 11th, we're going to be at Working Class. This is breaking news. I never announced that before. We're going to have the 18th. We're going to have Jerome is going to come in the studio. Not sure about the 25th of June, but July 2nd, we're going to be at Forest City with Matt. He's going to
Okay.
be giving us a tour of that brewery. So
Anything
Good
else you wanna
times.
say?
Just, come visit us. You got the whole experience of the grounds. So, throughout the summertime, come visit. In the wintertime, come see the igloos. Follow us at Twin Oast. And, if you see us on the shelf, grab yourself a legitimate Swallows.
and
It's
get
great
some
beer.
on tap 1 through 4 when you get here.
1 through 4. That's right. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yep.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, man. So we're going to do Cleveland or Catawba on our sign off?
We're going to do Cleveland.
All right.
That's what we do.
Okay.
Hey, keep on the lookout, though. We got Madison Brewing Company coming online
yeah,
here
that's
just
right.
after the weekend, so nothing happening for you guys out in Lake County. Literally 2 hours from here.
Yeah.
People are like, what are you doing tonight? Well, I'm an hour away from where I should be, so 2 hours away. So pretty far stretch. Loving it out here, though. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Great space, great brewery, great beer, good times. Can't wait to see you next week.
Yeah, thank
Until next time, guys.
Stay malty, Cleveland.